All right, BlakBoXX Radio. Guys, I'm by myself. My guest has been delayed, so I decided, listen, let me come on in here and talk to you guys. I never can sit here and just talk without somebody looking at me, anticipating the conversation. So I'm in here by myself and I'm in the box. Listen, I want to say greetings to everyone. I hope you guys are having a terrific Tuesday. I'm Queen. I'm a host at BlakBoXX Radio. We are a multimedia platform illustrating Black excellence. Look, I came in early, guys, and my guest is here. I'm telling you, she's on it. So I'm about to bring her in, but I was just going to talk and kind of gel with my folks. But she said, no, sir, you won't do that on me. So I said, first, guys, I want you to please like, share, subscribe. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We're going to have a hot popping show tonight. This is the bbR pop-up. I'm gonna bring my guest in. I'm gonna introduce her in a second, but I'm so happy she's here. But I was gonna just have a little talk, Anna. You just came in and bust up to talk. I see you. So we appreciate you. But yes, guys, like, share, subscribe. Please do. And listen, go on YouTube and please subscribe because listen, Facebook, I stay in jail. I have the biggest spot on death row. I just came home a few days and I think I'm back there. So please, we have a steady presence on YouTube. Please black up the algorithm, like, share, subscribe. If you want to get in touch with us, please check us out at blackboxradio@gmail.com. But we also have a website, blackboxradio.com. So I won't get to talk to you guys tonight because my guest is here, but that's what we're here for. This is the bbR pop-up series. This is when the news is so riveted that we got to come in. I said tonight, I got to talk about this Black maternal health. Black Maternal Health Week is on its way, April 11th. So that's a few days from now. So I know Anna's life is busy, busy, busy. But we're happy to have her. Anna, say hi to the people.
Hi, everybody. Hi, people. I'm so happy to be here tonight. Thank you for having me tonight, Queen.
You're welcome. I just want to make sure your voice is working, because we didn't get to do no voice checks.
I know. I'm so sorry.
No problem. So you good? You settled? That's
I'm good. I'm settled.
Good. So Black Maternal Health Week is coming, and we're women. And so this is why this was so poignant, because we are Black women. And so this statistic affects us per se and other women. And it's very important that, our families thrive on Black women. That's just, we love our Black men. Yes, we have to have men, but Black women, we stand in the gap. We take care of the parents, the children, the men. We are the caretakers. We are the maternal aspect, most of us. So it's very important when Black women are healthy, the family's healthy.
And if I can say, and I'm gonna be careful with my militant hat, because some people don't think that I'm that militant. So I'm gonna try to stay under the radar. But what I know is also Black women, there is this focus on Black women because during Jim Crow and the Civil Rights Movement, Black men, it was safer to have them step back, and we stepped up because we were protecting our Black men.
That's it.
So we were the ones that stepped into the roles. Absolutely. And not because we're better, because I hate those conversations that are pitting us against each other. We are not against each other, right?
Absolutely.
So as a protective factor for our community, we collectively said that the women are going to step up, and we just have not had an opportunity to step back yet. And so when we're talking about Black maternal health and focusing on women, I want to also say that Black women have been holding it down because we made a decision as a community to preserve our community for us to step up. And it's not about us being in our masculine. It's not about us trying to take over. It's because we decided as a community that Black women were safer to be the ones going to college, to be the ones that are doing more professional jobs here and there, to be in the forefront of the family. Because let's be clear, the family unit was just fine. The Black family was fine.
It was.
Right? And we had to make concessions and move. So I'm gonna step off of my little militant soapbox. I'm gonna just be regular old Anna here, but
No,
I
no, no,
am
no,
gonna
no.
say that. I wanted to start off with that.
Well, listen, I like you starting off and this, and it's not really militant, but we're about information.
Right.
And a lot of times you see Black women, it's definitely an issue between Black men and Black women at this point. We've actually I'm addressing that. I think that
Mm,
we're on one side of the island, and it's a lot going in between us because we don't know our history. And
right.
that's really what it is. And in survival, someone had to step up and someone had to step back. That's what survival is sometimes. And living in this country, if Black women were giving the pedestal or giving them the movement to step up, then if that saves our family, then that's a good thing. But because we
Right.
don't know the backstory, we tend to put each other against each other, and then we say, "You want to be a man, or men? We don't need men," and that's not true. We need our men. That's absolutely not true.
Right.
We definitely need our men. So I'm glad you said that, and that just segs us into Black Maternal Health Week. And
Yeah.
first, we want to kind of step away and kind of talk about who you are, Anna Temple Rodney. Who is Anna Temple Rodney? Kind of rep yourself, where you're from, your school
Okay.
you went to, that type of thing. Give us a little background.
So yes, again, my name is Anna. Some people call me Temple, but
Okay.
Anna Temple Rodney. I am an alumni of Morgan State. I grew up between Baltimore and Anne Arundel County because I had a non-blended family. So we were in Baltimore, or we were in Anne Arundel County. Um, my father's side is I am Trinidadian through and through. I might be a Yankee girl to some, but I am,
Yeah, Trini girl.
Trinidadian. I am a Trini gal. Um, come ask about my curry. Um,
Ooh.
I'm a mother of two wonderful, stinky little boys, Aiden and Asher. And now I really call myself a daughter of Baltimore City. I love my home. I love where I grew up. I love the people. I love everything about this place. And I started as a doula. I've been a doula for the last 16, going on 17 years. I started in college. Um, a friend of mine, and I have not been in college. It hasn't been 17 years since I was in college. I'm just letting you know. I started like when I was like 5.
I get
Um,
it.
but 17 years ago, a friend of mine was in college with me, and she got pregnant. She said, Anna, I need help. I don't know what to do. And I just said, well, I'm going to support you whatever you want to do.
Oh wow.
And she wound up having the baby, and I was there for the birth. And it was the most disgusting, amazing, spiritual, terrifying, ethereal. Like it was all of the emotions that I can even fathom. And I was just like, I want to do this. Whatever this is, I want to do this. And so um, that's how I started in my work. In
Ooh.
the express work of MoMCares, I started that after my son was born, premature. And I was thinking, in 10 years, my son is 9, he'll be 10 this year. So 10 years ago, we weren't talking about maternal health the same way we are talking about it now.
Exactly.
And so I was just like, well, I'm a doula. Everybody's gonna know what to do. And we didn't know what to do. And so after, I'm sorry, of course, y'all get to see my forehead. Sorry. My computer just wanted to start dying. Um, but nobody knew what to do. And so,
Hmm.
can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. We were in the hospital for 6 months,
Ooh.
and it was the most difficult 6 months of my life. At that point, I was single, Black, overweight,
This was your first kid, though. This was your first
underemployed. I
child.
eventually became unemployed. Um, Identities that I was navigating. That
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of identities that I was navigating that people were uh, able to put their own stuff on,
Mm-hmm.
and that made it harder.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came home from the NICU with my son, I decided that we needed. So that's, I don't know why I'm going out, but we
Yeah,
decided I needed to do something
there you go.
different in the way that I saw people being treated, in the way that I was being treated, and that's what birth MoMCares is, that experience.
Okay.
So,
Well, we didn't hear some of that, but I want to ask one question. So this was your first child
oh
that
no,
was. I saw heard some of it. You know, your internet was going on. So I want to kind of break it down for the people. This was your first son or your second son that was premature.
hmm
The first,
my
your
first,
first, your first son.
my
Okay.
first,
So this was
yeah.
your first experience at becoming a mother, and you were in NICU for 6 months. Wow, that's scary.
hmm
That's really scary. Okay. So
It
first, I
was
want to say
terrifying.
shout out to you because I'm a Morgan State grad, and that's why I like you. So shout out to you for that. You know, we beers over here. Shout
Okay.
out. Yeah, I got to give you a big up for
Yes.
that. So you had this experience in your own life, and so this is one of the reasons you birthed MoMCares. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
So you had
Absolutely.
no advocate, you had no help during this point. How did you get through
There
this?
I mean, so I say I had no advocate, but people surrounded me, community surrounded me, definitely.
Okay.
Some people surrounded me because they wanted to know what was going on. Some people surrounded me because they wanted to genuinely help. But I
Yeah.
did have people,
Okay.
people here and there to help. And I think that that was also part of what came out of to create the idea of MoMCares, was the fact that we need each other. We need the
Yeah.
bridges of friendships, of community in these times, and really focusing on helping community prepare themselves to be supportive of these mothers.
Of these
Um,
mothers.
yeah.
That's very inspirational because
So
the worst thing is to doing something the first time in your life, especially hospital related or health related, and there's no one there for you. That is that is the worst position that you can be in. So is this geared towards single mothers or any mother? Is this any mother
so
can be a part of MoMCares? How's this work?
if you're Black and you're pregnant and you want a doula, you can come to MoMCares. The
That's it.
statistics say that Black women are dying at a disparate rate. Like we're dying at a higher rate than not only white women, but every other race category. And it does not matter what our socioeconomic status is, our marital status, our education status. We're the ones that are dying. And when you look at the graph of like the deaths per capita, we're up here at the top and everybody else is at the bottom. And so we're not saying that we're the only births that matter or pregnant people that matter,
Mhm.
but we're the ones that the house is on fire. And so we need help, and that focused help. So again, if you are Black and pregnant and feel like you need extra support, we work very hard to be one of the supports and resources for you in the community.
That's beautiful. I looked it up. It says Black women have a maternal mortality rate of 2.9 times that of white women in the United States. For
Nationally,
several
yeah.
Yes, for several years, Black women have been ignored and dismissed by medical providers in the United States. Even as medicine progresses, racial disparities persist. So
Mhm.
that's a problem. That's high. And it's saying within 100,000 births, 69,000 black births are mortality. That is sick. Are dead out of 100,000.
Right,
Do you know how
right.
how our population would be if you're just thinking out of 100,000, 69,000 children? That that's astonishing. I From reading that blew my mind. Whoa. So I kind of understand now. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I'm a
Yeah.
woman with
Yeah.
no kids, so I just have not even thought it could be this bad. That's
Mhm.
terrible. Those numbers are horrible. So this happened to you, and
Mhm.
and so that was your kind of ushered you into there's a problem here. There's a serious issue
Mhm.
here. And when you started this organization, was there a help? Were people open to this type of work, or did you have to kind of kick in the door and say, "Damn it, you're gonna look it up"?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm an Aries, so yes, I had to
Ooh,
kick in the door.
okay.
I had to be persistent. I was talking earlier today about the fact that I'm very good at turning no's into yeses. I
Mm,
had a lot of early on meetings with a lot of folks that were just like, "Oh no, we're good," Um, but what what people need to know about Anna is if Anna has something in her head, if there is something that Anna is working on, th- there's nothing you can do to stop.
there's
So
no
here we
stopping on.
are 6, 7 years later, and now people are taking notice. Now people know who MoMCares is. Now people
Mhm.
know who Anna is in the story, and we're not going to stop. Uh, I think I shared with you offline. And one of the other catalysts for this work is my sister Bobby, who her birthday is actually today. Bobby had four beautiful, healthy kids. We were pregnant at the same time when I was pregnant with my first. And she passed away in her postpartum period because she did not have the care that she needed. And so after my experience where I almost died 3 times, my son was on life support for 6 months, and then my sister passed away in the same year. No, we're not going to do this. No family is going to go through what we're going through right now. Like I've said this before, but I have fire in my veins. I might quit every single day, but I get up every other morning. Every morning I get up and I go back to work because there's no stopping this. And I think that after I started talking to people about this, started
Mhm.
talking to providers and hospitals and community organizations, people started to listen. And then thankfully, other folks uplifted it, Serena Williams and Beyonce and
Yeah.
all of these other bigger names started to talk about it. But little old Ano has been screaming and hollering since 2014, and will continue to scream and holler until we can see these numbers be corrected and reversed.
And that's the reason I asked that question, because if these numbers persist at this level, that means it's being ignored. It
Right.
doesn't matter. And so many things in our community don't matter, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And if we're not having children, we won't matter. How about that?
Mhm. Right.
Um, so so it's very important for this type of work. It is very important
Right.
for this type of work. So and then we heard the Serena Williams story, and about what happened to her, and beyond, like you said, all of these, when the stars get into, when they start shining and talking, then we know there's and they have all of the resources. Listen, these folks should have no issues
Right.
because they have all, but resource doesn't matter when race is in play.
Right.
Just
Absolutely.
understand that everything goes out the window when race is in play, and that's the problem.
Right.
So your story is compelling. That's probably one of the biggest. The story is Bobby. Bless her when she rests in perfect peace. Today is
Yes.
her birthday. We honor that. We absolutely honor that. How are those four children?
They're great. My nieces just came back from Disney World. They were cheerleaders, and
Oh,
my nephew, my oldest nephew, he got accepted into the Navy and called me and was so proud about being in the Navy and going into I was proud of my baby. I reserved comment, and that's what he wants to do. I'm proud of him.
that's so beautiful.
But the baby girls are doing great. I really wish I could see them more often. They're in New Orleans, but
New Orleans. Okay.
um, and it just they are just her. They're Bobby. If you look
Oh,
at them and knew what she looked like, they're just little hers. And so they're doing good. They're with their dad, and um, everybody's loved. So
that's beautiful. I'm glad that they're flourishing and they're in a space to flourish. So that's a
yeah,
beautiful thing. Losing a mother is, my mother lost her mother very early. So I grew up with someone who did not have their mother, and it changes your life. It
right.
absolutely changes your life. And so we honor her today, her being her birthday. My goodness. So when it comes to this, because I read your bio, right? And it says doula, sister. It just amazes me when I see doula and spiritual healer. It's always all of these energetic things. They're either a Reiki specialist. It's all energy.
Right.
It amazes me how all you ladies are doing something very energetic, very spiritual, things. So what is that about? Tell me what that is, that you have the modalities mixing to me.
Well, I mean, if you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your faith practice is or isn't, Black women, birthing folks, people are a portal from spirit into physical, right? If we acknowledge that everybody has a spirit and that before you were in your body, you were
Yes.
somewhere else, we are a portal to help facilitate that transition from spiritual to physical.
To physical.
And that spirit, whatever you call it, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
faith practice you have, that is an
Yes.
undeniable truth, right?
Yes.
And so that's absolutely energetic. When I am in a birth with a mama, and there comes a moment where there's nothing I can do, there's nothing the doctors can do, there's nothing the partner can do. We're just in it, and you can feel spirit there. You can feel that mama go somewhere else to access some other power, right? When you think about the intensity of birth pains, they are probably, I can't remember the exact number, but there are a number of points above what is physically possible in life. And so the pain that you're going through is something that should hypothetically, scientifically be killing you.
Take you out.
Right.
Yes.
But you
Actually
persist,
bringing life.
and you're bringing another life in,
Wow.
right? That's energetic. That's
That's
physical.
serious.
That's
Mm-hmm.
all of it, right? Um, and I think also for me, there's a lot of different energies coming in and out of the room, whether you're birthing at home or you're birthing in a hospital. There's a lot of other people in play, and each person comes with their stuff, their energy, their
Yes.
hang-ups, their anxieties, their happinesses, their joys, and you feel that you're literally open, right? Your body is open. And so for me as an energy healer, as a doula, you know, I have to be the energetic baseline, right?
Mm.
Somebody comes in that room and they're not right, you got to get out.
You gotta
You
go.
know, you see, in birth, you see sometimes moms will stall, right? They'll be progressing and baby will be moving, and then they'll stop progressing. 9 times out of 10, there's somebody in that room or somebody that they're interacting with that is keeping them closed. Because when you are fearful, when you're stressed, when you are angry, you
Yeah.
close your body, right? And so that's also another energetic thing. And so to know all of these things and be able to navigate them, and be able to also respect everybody else's energy and make sure that you're not offending people, it's a huge lift energetically and emotionally. And so I think the people it's hard work for me. I don't think there's a lot of people that are like, oh, you're a doula, I want to be a doula. And like, I would never, ever tell somebody or discourage someone from doing the work. But it's not just woo, 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 I'm going to rub your back and then I'm going to hold the baby. There
Yes.
is intense spiritual, emotional, physical work
Wow.
involved in supporting a birth. And also you have to step aside and remove your own self from it, right? Like when I came back into birth work after I had my son,
Mm-hmm.
the first birth I had, they were trying to push her into a C-section. And they called me at the hospital. They called me from the hospital. Oh, well, the doctor says I need to have a C-section. And I jumped out of bed and I started putting on clothes and I started, talking to myself about how this isn't going to happen again. And I had to stop and say, this is not your birth.
Mm.
You are not rushing to save Anna. You have to get out of the way. You have to put whatever that is down and go be present for that person, right?
Wow. Yes.
And so all of that requires some amount of energetic balance. And I could talk about that all day because I'm a geek, but
That's
um,
serious. I mean, because a lot of times with childbirth is so systemized, you go and da, 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 da. But when you're doing it from this standpoint, you see the how beautiful it is, how important, and it's very important. We know that it brings life, but the
right,
energy that goes, what you're saying, I'm almost feeling it. Like,
right,
someone comes in the room, it stalls. That and the energy's not right. That's just how important the energy is when
right.
that's happening. And so hearing that is like amazing. If you've never been in that room, I'm vicariously living it through you right now. So that's quite amazing. So it's something you really love. You seem to be very passionate about
I
being a
love
doula.
it.
Okay. Okay. And so and it's so central to what you're doing. So it all comes into play. And so if someone wanted to be a part of a woman, say I'm a woman and I'm in my first trimester and I need support. How do they access MoMCares as a Black woman?
So we have a website,
Hmm.
www.momcares.org. You
Okay.
can go to the website and you can request the service. And so there's a
Okay.
little form and it says your contact information, your name, and you can kind of type out what you said. I'm in my first trimester. I need help with X, Y, and Z. My doctor says I have blah blah blah.
Hmm.
And then it gets sent off. It comes directly to me, the boss.
Really?
I look at it and then I send it on to the rest of the team, and the team activates whatever is needed to make sure that we're supporting that mom and that family.
And that's www, because I'm writing that in the chat, cares.org, right?
.org, yes.
Okay. And so that's how a mom gets in touch with you, and there's a way for them to explain their issue and everything.
Mhm.
Beautiful,
Yep.
beautiful. And then you go from there. It's
We
on and
just
popping.
it's on and popping. We call, we say, hey, you sure you want some services? This is what we got. They say yes,
Uh-huh.
and then we get it going.
Okay. And when it comes to doula, is that something that insurance covers, or is this how is the doula's resources? How do you get resources to be a doula?
So currently, we work very hard. When I talk
Mhm.
about mom cares, I talk about us in buckets.
Okay.
So we have the direct service bucket, which is like the doula care, the daddy program, the young mothers program, all of those direct service programming. And then we have the community education, which is our doula trainings and things like that. And then we have advocacy.
Okay.
And so all the tables, if there is a table talking about maternal health, we are busting in the door and finding a seat or bringing our own folding chair to that table, whether it be legislative or institution or whatever.
Hmm.
And so mom cares found their way to the table with Medicaid, and the
Excellent.
Maryland Health Department when they were deciding what they wanted to do as far as reimbursement. So, and that was about 3 years ago. So Medicaid is now reimbursing doulas who are
Mm.
certified to take Medicaid insurance, to provide doula care. We private insurance, if you have a savings plan or something like that, you can go through a savings plan.
Okay.
Um, but other than that, private insurance doesn't have a billable code yet. But if you have Medicaid, absolutely, you can go to your MCO provider and say, hey, I would like a doula. And then there's a list of us. Mom Cares is one of the only Black owned, woman owned organizations that accepts Medicaid right now. And
Mm.
so there's individual doulas in the area there, and there's a couple of organizations, and so they'll send those referrals to us as well. So,
That's very important. That's next level, because
mhm,
that has been, I'm sure, a barrier for a lot of
right,
people is being able to access ancillary other than hospitals, other than
right,
the route that is definitely resourced. So that really
right.
and like you said, yet. So private institution, she coming. Did you hear her? She said yet. So that means she's coming. But that's great. That's good to hear because that helps.
Right.
So wow, I love this. So how did we get to Black Maternal Week? How did that happen?
So, Black Maternal Health Week was created by an organization called Black Mamas Matter.
Okay.
And they are an advocacy group. They do a lot around uplifting the Black maternal health crisis nationally.
Okay.
And they started, I believe that was 2014, 2015, they
Ooh,
started doing their work. And they created Black Maternal Health Week. And so now, um,
beautiful.
Black Maternal Health Week for the last couple of years has been set from the 11th to the 17th. It's the same every year, which is always fun for me because my second is born on the 13th and I am born on the 16th. So it's always a fun time in our house.
Oh my
But
goodness. Wow.
here is my big boy. Say hello.
Hello.
This is
How you
Aiden.
doing?
Oh, you're on Google Earth. Is mommy on the call though? Okay. I love you.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
That's my NICU baby. That's my 1 pound 5 ounce. He's not gonna make it through the night, baby. Um,
God is
that
good.
he God is good.
Mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
and but that also going back to the spiritual piece, the first thing I did for my son was I went and I touched him. I put my hand in the little isolette. I
Important.
wrote a I wrote a prayer and I put that on the isolette. I wrote powerful words on the isolette. I told people that we weren't going to use negative words like sick and death, and I was serious about it.
And look at
Uh,
him.
and now he is in here talking about, can you Google Earth
I
and
heard
bring
him.
me whole blood?
He googling the earth. I love it. That's what positive affirmations mean something.
They
What
mean
you
something. You
say
can't tell
manifest.
me not.
Be careful what you say because it will manifest. So
Mhm.
and I just saw it in human form. So
Absolutely.
I mean, and you know what? We couldn't make that up.
Right.
Like he comes in to talk to you, and this is and he's the NICU baby. I mean, we
Right.
can't make that up. So that's a beautiful thing, man. Whew, I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about Black Maternal Health Week.
Yeah, Black. Yeah, let's talk about Black maternal health. Oh my,
It
that
is
young man blew. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about how do you get, because every day there's something going on. So
yes.
yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
So I bite off more than I can chew, and I like to do that often. Um,
Okay.
but every year I have been supportive of other organizations and other
Mhm.
people. Um, and this year Spirit just said it was time for us to jump in and stop being timid and create some programming of our own as well. And so we connected with the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. So we have a number of events happening at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. We also have an event happening at the Enoch Pratt Library. We also have an event happening at the St. Francis Community Center. Um, and really, it was just the outgrowth of what we've heard from our families and the
Mhm.
ideas. My staff, we're 90% mothering. All of us are parents in some type of way.
Yeah.
And, just thinking about what we would want to do during this week. But also wanting to bring some joy. I think there's a lot of statistics and numbers that are damning and scary and, gloom and doom. And I wanted to have fun. I wanted to feel good about birth and Black bodies giving life to the earth. So there's a birthing justice panel happening on the 11th at the Enoch Pratt Library in Patterson Park. There is I'm going to
I would
cheat
like to
and
bring those up, but
pull
they
it up
won't send to
because
me.
uh,
Yeah,
um,
I want to bring it up so the folks can see. That's my goal here. Let's see if we can make that happen.
oh, I thought um
See if I can make that happen.
oh I wonder but I can definitely say that on the 12th
Mm-hmm.
we I in my other life, which is where Temple came from, um
She said,
I was a poet, am a poet. Um, and so we are doing a mom mic. So our mothers who are also artists are coming and presenting their art and their poetry
mm-hmm.
on Friday at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. We're having a self-care health fair at the Reginald F. on the 13th, which is a Saturday. Um, the Sunday, we are joining another health fair at New Bethlehem Baptist Church, and we'll be tabling there. On that Monday, the 15th, we are doing a Daddy Doula launch. There's a funny story. A couple of years ago, someone got up in a meeting and was like, well, what about the dads? And they swear up and down that I was like, I don't care about the dads. I don't believe I said that, but I wasn't focused on the dads at that moment. I'll say that.
Okay.
But our community spoke. We had a community survey, and they were said we want a program to support the dads. And so, for the last couple of years, we've been working to build this program, which we call the Daddy Doula program.
So I think I kind of brought it up.
Um, Great. Um,
Can you see it or no?
I think I can see it
So the 11, because this is every day but Sunday.
every day, right?
Every day.
And then yoga, I'm a yogi, I'm a yoga instructor. So we had to have yoga in there at St. Francis on
Mm-hmm.
the 16th. And then on the 17th, we're doing a legislative session at
Yeah.
the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. And we're going to have some people that are familiar with the legislative process, but I
Mm-hmm.
really want the community to come out to that on the 17th. I want people to come out and tell us what it is that they want to see in these laws. What are they feeling? What are their issues? We're going to be talking about how to take an idea from an idea to a law,
Yes.
and kind of demystifying that. So, like, yes, we're going to have some political folks in the building, but I
Who will
want
be? Will you have some legislators in the building?
yeah. So,
Okay,
we're going to have Dana Moore from the Office of Civil Rights is going to be our moderator.
good.
We have Latricia Adams, who is actually a White House appointee for environmental justice and maternal health. So she will be there as well. I will be there in the building. We have a number of other folks that are coming that I'm
Good.
not allowed to say yet, but you will come. Those names are important, but the most important people for that meeting on the
With the
17th
audience.
is the community.
Yeah.
I want my community to show up and show out and say, this is what we need. And I want us to start to plan together what next session is going to look like and what
Yes.
our voice is going to say collectively. So, and then we'll have a happy hour and do a clink clink. You know, you don't have to drink if you don't drink alcohol. I'm going to be drinking my pineapple juice at Remix, which is right across the street from the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. And then I'm going to
Oh,
rest my butt off.
I
Um,
understand. I totally understand. This looks like a huge undertaking,
yeah.
especially when you're doing multiple days, multiple venues, multiple people. It's a lot of multiples going on here. And so, did you partner with any other organizations that actually have Black maternal health as its forefront? Were you able to get some others to partner with you, or is this something that MoMCares have taken and just going at it?
Well, so we are in the community partnering with anybody who wants to partner with us, right? So
Right.
we are partnered with hospitals, we are partnered with different community organizations. Um, we are partnered with Johns Hopkins. The Johns Hopkins students, we have a very complex relationship as a city with Johns Hopkins, but
Me too.
those Black babies on that campus are like, what? Black maternal health, I'm coming, right? And so we have a number of different organizations, professional organizations from Johns Hopkins that are Black students, Black alumni that are like, look, we want to come and help. And so, uh, that's what we've been doing. We have a number of, now that we are accepting Medicaid, a lot of the MCOs are interested in the work that we're doing, and
Beautiful.
they're listening to us. Don't invite me and ask me my opinion because I'm gonna tell you the truth, right? And so
Right.
those folks will be out. We have a number of, and I don't have the list, but we have a number of people that will be at the health fair.
Okay.
Um, but I think uh, we're really only just moving up from here. We've kind of been hiding under a bushel basket, I'll say, because we don't want to overextend ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Spirit said that this is the year that you step out and you do it. And so as we are stepping out, we are collecting relationships and partnerships. And I'm hopeful that by the end of this year, we'll be able to boast a huge list of partners across spectrums and platforms. And so I do need to shout out Young, Gifted, and Green, which is a maternal health environmental organization. So
Oh, beautiful.
understanding the impact of lead and the impact of asthma and things like that
Yep.
on our Black community and our babies.
Yes.
And so that's one of the relationships we're really excited about. The Well, I also have to shout out The Well, which is a professional organization that is supporting us and partnering with us this year to make sure that we're getting the word out about Black maternal health. Um, there's just so many.
Well, that's
um,
good. I mean, because if you have so many you forgotten, that's great. The good thing too about being an NCO is that you have exposure in the network. and
Mhm.
that helps Medicare, that Medicaid. I mean, that helps a lot
Right.
with your actual company. So I think that's a great
Right.
space right now. There's a
I
lot of potential
also
for growth. There you go.
right.
See
I
how I
have
made
to
that show?
thank you. I have to remember and shout out Sweet Bee Services, doula services. She's actually a colleague who has been through a number of these programs, that Baltimore City has for entrepreneurs.
Sure.
So very excited about that partnership and what that's going to do and how I'm going to be able to support the work that she's doing over there. And then also the Franciscan Center. I'm remembering that we had a conversation today. So the Franciscan Center, Roberta's house, the list is
Love it.
just
Love it.
growing. And so we're just very excited to be able to support families and organizations as much as possible. And hopefully we can, get this grant money out here and continue to grow and get our,
Yeah,
make
that's
sure that we're
continue to
bringing it
cultivate.
back. Right.
Yeah, I would love to see like a doula service be attached to young women in prison and who are
Mm,
actually being separated from their children, that they go through a experience that they spiritually kind of, separate
mhm.
in good energy, so that when they do come back, there's still a connection and not
Absolutely.
this, kind of sanitized birth. Do you understand what I'm saying? That it brings in, because life is so important, and we take it for granted. Once people get into penalized situations, we tend to discard them. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I would love to see like a doula service be a part of like the prison system. Truly,
Right. I mean, I know that there
have you
is
ever thought about that? Or
well, yeah, I mean, so there's an organization, the Baltimore Doula Project, that
okay,
they work primarily with abortion care, but they do have a focus on supporting folks who are imprisoned.
okay,
Um, but also there needs to be some legislation to allow for that to happen, right?
absolutely. Policy,
Um,
always
Policy.
policy.
It always goes back to policy.
Yeah,
And
yep,
uh, so I know that they kind of got stuck in kind of that policy and what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do.
sure,
But the work is being done. But again,
okay,
I am a hole filler, right? And so if there is a hole, if there is a need, if there is a need for me to be supportive,
hmm,
I work very hard to be that for folks. So the sky is the limit, and we're going
yeah.
to keep going until Spirit says to stop, right? So um, don't be surprised.
I won't be, and I actually said that to you on air because I really think that that's important, especially in our community, with actually being separated from your parent. And if the
Mm,
parent is living, can we make it an experience that they still stay connected and there's good energy?
right,
And and stop kind of discarding people, especially a child at the beginning of their life.
right.
And so I think that's really important. And then another thing, when it comes to doula services, because I think it's no think I know it's very important, because we need options to the systems. I really
Mm,
believe that. I work in the medical field. We need options to the medical field,
mm,
that are viable and safe. And
mm.
so when I say that, when it comes to doula, are you guys, and you say you're training, are you training a cadre of young women to be doulas? Because we need a team of these women
Right.
out here, so
So
how is that going when it comes to training doulas?
yeah, so we've trained a number of doulas. Again, sometimes people enter into the work a little unprepared,
Naive.
right? Naive, we'll say. I was trying to be gentle. Um, but um, so we've trained a number, I would say probably upwards of 50. Um, and we are working to continue to train folks.
Mm-hmm.
And with this Medicaid, we're trying to get people involved with the Medicaid reimbursement so that they can have a livable wage. Because what happens within, not only just within MoMCares, but just within the doula community, is people want to be a doula. They have an experience, or they don't, or they have a friend who has an experience or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
leads them to the work. They get into the work, they put all this money into it, and then it's not sustainable.
Yeah, they can't
And so then
can't be
they have to
compensated.
exit out and do something else.
Yeah,
And so the work that we're doing right now is to create this pathway that
yeah,
is a sustainable,
yeah,
livable wage so
sure.
that we're not losing the doulas as soon as we gain them. And so that's what we're working on right now, as especially working and going back and forth to the drawing board with Medicaid as far as what this reimbursement looks like for our doulas.
That makes sense. That makes sense because it's always about compensation, and
Right.
we got to have resources to live. So that does make sense. But doing 50, that's beautiful, you know.
Right.
And when I grew up, sweetheart, I never heard of a doula. I mean, that's the truth, you know. And that was not something a part of when I was young. When I went to Morgan, I started hearing more about alternatives. I'm like, what is this? And so to hear that is growing, and there's young women who are very, you know, they're very focused and they're doulas.
Right.
I know a group of young women that are doulas. And I'm like, wow, when I was that age in my 20s, that was not even a thought. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like amazed to see, but they have more information. And so that's the thing. When you have more information, you do things that probably is not the normal. So
and we have doulas who are also, you know, we've got a doula who's a beekeeper, and we have a doula who's into like herbalism and like, so like things that I don't know anything about, right? I'm like, I just know about babies. Like, but so the fact that these young women are focused on not only just the health and well-being of a mom and baby, but the health and well-being of the community is important as well.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I think that's what it has, a social aspect to it, you know, like socialization when it comes to the community and protect. I mean, if you're a doula, you're actually a protector of the community because you're bringing life. Right. And so, and I can understand you being a beekeeper. That's bees could sustain our lives.
Right.
I mean, we don't know that, but if we don't have bees, we're in trouble. We need pollination. Yeah. So when I hear that they're environmentalists and all that makes sense. Right. it makes a lot of sense. Like I hear you keep deferring to spirit.
Right.
You know, energy and spirit, that's very important to you. And I hear it, you know, and it seems like it leads your life. And it's so good to hear sometimes because, you know, a lot of I grew up as a Christian and that's never said, you know, right. You know, Jesus and God. Leave to God. So I love hearing that. So what are your expectations for since Black Maternal Health Week is 2 days away? What are you expecting? How do you feel? Are you excited? Where are you at?
I'm excited. I am hopeful. I am praying people show up and show out. I'm ready to be overflowing and overwhelmed and in love with my life. I'm also ready for that nap that's going to come after all of this. But I really feel like this is a launch. I feel like, and to be honest with you, we've been doing work and I've been very diligent about the work that we've been doing over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And this work is not easy. And unfortunately, you know, this space is not always welcoming and kind to everybody. And so I've been very protective of the work that we've done. And again, Spirit was like, it's time to go. It's time to open up. You got to stop being scared. And so this is our outdooring. This is our outdooring party, I believe.
Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it, sis. Everybody needs it. Yeah. And I love it. And you have a lot of Black women who are in this with you. You have great panels. I mean, it's not one or two. You have great panels. I think you're being interviewed tomorrow. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Look at you. I'm watching you. I'm looking at your whole schedule. So you're doing a whole bunch, and it seems like people are actually looking at what you're doing and see the value. I saw the value immediately. I called you. I'm like, listen, let's pop up and pull up.
Right.
You know, and because I think a lot of times if we are not talking about our stuff or things that are definitely in our lives, then who's going to talk about it?
Right.
So it has to come through us first. We have to value Black maternal health if we expect other people to value Black maternal health. And so I see that your itinerary and the Black women that's showing up for you. I'm like, go sis. You better do it. and it's beautiful. You got legislators. I think I saw the guy from the 7th district.
Yes, Torrance.
Yeah. See, Torrance.
Yep, and Stokes is gonna be out at the Daddy Doula launch. I mean,
Daddy Doula, he gonna be there. I see you. I love it.
Yeah, I think on a personal note, this week for me is about standing up. I think for me being, I can't not be in the spotlight. I'm a person that my energy just says, look at me. And I don't mean it. It's just how it's always been.
Okay.
But there's been some safety in me not shining and me not standing up and me not saying, look at me. And so I've been very intentional again about the things that we've done as an organization and the way that we presented ourselves. And I really think and feel very strongly that this week is about me stepping out of my comfort zone and stepping out of my fear of being seen. Like, if you can't see me, you can't attack me, you can't tell me I'm doing it wrong, you can't steal my ideas, right? Like, if you can't see me, you can't cause harm.
Sure.
But that's not trusting spirit to protect me. That's not trusting spirit to guide me and to make the things that I'm investing in grow.
And there's not a lot of growth in that space, you know?
Right. So
yeah.
I'm just looking forward to growing. I'm looking forward to building connections. And even here tonight, I think we've been trying to connect forever. And we're finally connecting. And I'm just very grateful and hopeful that the seeds that we're going to be sowing as an organization this week are going to grow into some wonderful fruit to help invest and support the community moving forward.
I love that. And understand that when you're most uncomfortable, you're growing. So, let's get uncomfortable, sis. And this week I'm sure you're gonna have some uncomfortable spaces.
Yes.
So it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. So I just want to hear, as we get close, we're in 50 minutes.
Right.
What is like your goals? What after this, and where's MoMCares going?
So MoMCares, world domination, sis. Like, we want to be able to provide doula care and Black maternal health support to the country, to the rest of Maryland. We want to go international. I will not stop. I will not rest until we are looking at those numbers and see a significant dip or that they're no longer there.
That's right? What I'm talking about.
I want to put myself out of business. Or I want to have to pivot to something else. I want to say, okay, well, the moms are taken care of. Now we got to do childcare. Now we got to do something else.
Put yourself out of business. That's a beautiful thing.
I want to put myself out of business. And that's what we're doing. I want these young people to come and to know. I want to be the old lady that's like, this is how you do it, baby. Yeah. Like I want to pass the baton. But I also want to rest, and I want to show my children how to be joyful and rested and peaceful. I want to love on babies and love on mamas and support mamas feeling protected and safe and loved and joyful in their pregnancies. And so my goal for MoMCares is to really be able to actually, like we say, correct the crisis and make sure that these numbers are eradicated and that we're not talking about this in 10 years because we don't have to.
Yeah.
And then my personal goal for myself is to be able to rest and love my children and love my life. And I do love my life. But get back into the spiritual piece more, get back into the yoga, get back into the meditation, get back into the connecting to spirit. Because for me, there's a payroll and grants and staff meetings that don't always give space for that more ethereal part of my life and what I started. And so I'm hoping to be able to return back to that as the work grows and more people come and we get to join arms and create a force. So I don't have to be doing so much.
Well, I love that. The work absolutely continues. Being a social entrepreneur, we continue to pivot because there's so many social ills in society.
Yeah.
And being a social entrepreneur, first of all, it's a responsibility, but it is an honor,
right?
To be able to serve others. And I just think that when you serve, your life will definitely be served also. It will be a life of service. So I see we see you. We actually thank you for just putting a light on Black women. I always say, Anna, is the world doesn't deserve Black women. I always say that. And it's not, well, it is because I'm a Black woman. Let's get it straight. But I mean, if I was not, I just see and I know how important we are to society. Just birthing the world. Let's just start there. None of us would be here. Let's talk about that. You want to talk about birthing? We have We birthed that.
Right.
And we've stood in so many gaps, and we've shown the world humility in so many ways. And I just really think when Black women are fine, everyone else is fine. That's the truth.
Right.
And so for you to step in this arena and kick through the door and say, you're going to pay attention. We're going to look at these numbers, and I'm going to contribute. I'm going to create a structure around that. And I'm going to continue to beat the path that no one's been beating. I say, bless you and ashe to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. I just
and I have to also shout out, the people that came before me,
sure,
the people that trained me, the people that guided me, the people that still whisper in my ear. I'm like, okay, girl, you okay? What you doing?
That's beautiful.
Because it didn't start with me, right? And so I want to give honor to the fact that I'm standing on some very powerful and fortified shoulders. Even my grandmother, who is going to be 90 years old, right, telling stories of delivering babies on the side of a mountain or the hill in Trinidad. Like,
what?
These are the people.
This is genetic for you.
Are in my corner, right?
This is in your DNA code. Listen to this. Wow. I would believe we are just performing our DNA.
Right.
Absolutely. And I'm listening to now lineage of a doula.
Right. So I just want to give honor to all of the known and unknown folks who have influenced me to get to this point and further, because it wasn't just me. I had an experience that I turned into something, but there were seeds and love and encouragement along the way and before. So I do want to acknowledge that as well.
I love that. And fun fact, I want to tell the folks, and when I first saw you, I saw you on a panel, and I did not know much about. And while you were talking, I Googled Black maternal health. Because the way that you explained it, the passion that came from you, and it made me understand. And everyone around me was riveted by what you were saying. And I said, wow, who is this person, and what is this work? And that's how I first saw you on a panel. And it was all of the agencies like OSI, Baltimore Court, Bunting. They all were in there doing and you were on the panel. I said, who is this lady? And it was just an amazing talk. And you talked about your work. And it was something that kind of, I said, I got to have her on. And I've been walking behind you for at least a year now, and now you're here. So I'm just, thank you so much for contributing to BlakBoXx Radio. We really, really appreciate this talk. I hope you have a wonderful Black Maternal Health Week. I know you've worked hard for this thing, girl. I know you have. Anytime you put up the list that I see you worked hard. But I would like for you to leave a jewel. You leave something inspiring with the people. Drop a jewel on us. Give us Anna's jewel before you go.
Anna's jewel is that your spirit knows exactly what you need. And all you need to do sometimes is give the ego space to sit down and listen. And when you look on your life, even in crisis, you know that you have never been left by spirit, by God, by Most High, by whatever you call it. You're still experiencing this space alive and well in this moment. And that's all you got is this very moment. And so you are safe right now. You are loved right now. You are provided for right now. And all you got to do is keep moving in that moment forward and trusting that it will continue.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. That oh my goodness, you had to bust it out. the jewel of the week. You had to do that. But listen, I get back to those boys. We really appreciate it. I know you were late. You had a crisis or something going on. So I appreciate you coming in and sitting with me and sharing with me. And I know I see you. We walk the same path. We're social entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
And so we do
And
this
I
thing.
got your number now, so
You better call me. And listen, I'm so interested in your work. So anytime that you're doing something beautiful, call me up and let's talk about it for sure.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
For sure.
So bless you. Have a good night. BlakBoXx, we enjoyed this talk. This was
Yes.
beautiful. Have a great Black Maternal Health Week. We're gonna say
Thank you.
deuces. Hit them deuces. We out of here, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Don't go nowhere, Anna. Don't go nowhere. Good night,
Okay.
BlakBoXxes.